War Marshal Vexithara stood on the bridge of her massive flagship, looking out at the thousands of ships that filled the dark space around her. Each vessel gleamed with the silver and blue colors of the Zephyrian Confederation. For 3,000 years, these ships had brought fear to every corner of the galaxy. No species had ever stood against them and won. The War Marshal's forearms moved with practiced grace as she reviewed the latest reports. 212 species now served under Confederation rule. Each one had fallen to their perfect understanding of warfare. Each one had learned that resistance was useless against their superior tactics. War Marshal, her aide spoke in the clicking language of their people. The scouts have returned from the outer rim. They bring news of a new species. Vexithara turned her large, dark eyes toward the younger officer. Tell me about these creatures. They call themselves humans, War Marshal. They live on a small blue world they name Earth. Our scouts say they are primitive. They have only just learned to travel between stars. Their weapons are crude metal projectiles and simple energy beams. The War Marshal made a sound that might have been laughter in a human throat. How many ships do they possess? Perhaps 800 in total, War Marshal. Most are small vessels used for trade and exploration. They have fewer than 50 ships, built for war. Vexithara nodded slowly. The numbers meant nothing. The Confederation fleet numbered in the tens of thousands. But numbers alone did not win wars. Superior tactics did. Superior understanding of combat did. The Confederation had both. What of their military doctrine? She asked. The aide looked confused. War Marshal, they appear to have no unified doctrine. Each of their nations fights differently. Some use massive formations. Others prefer small, fast attacks. Some focus on long-range weapons while others close for hand-to-hand combat. It is chaotic. Chaos. Vexithara repeated the word with disgust. They have learned nothing. They fight like animals, without art, without science. They will fall quickly. Light years away, Captain Jake Morrison sat in the command chair of the USS Defiance. The human battleship was not the largest ship in Earth's fleet, but it was one of the newest. Its crew of 300 represented the best that humanity had to offer. Captain, Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez called from her station. We're receiving another distress signal from the outer colonies. Morrison was a tall man with graying hair and eyes that had seen too many battles. He had fought in the corporate wars that united Earth's governments. He had led raids against pirates in the asteroid belt. But the reports coming from the frontier worried him more than any enemy he had faced before. Put it through, Amy. The voice that filled the bridge belonged to Colonial Defense Coordinator Ryan Clark from New Austin. Static filled the transmission, but the fear in Clark's voice came through clearly. Unknown ships have entered our system. They're huge, Captain, bigger than anything we've ever built. They're broadcasting some kind of message, but our computers can't translate it. They're moving toward the colony in formation. Perfect formation. It's like watching a parade, except these ships have enough firepower to turn our world into dust. The transmission cut to static. Morrison looked around his bridge at the faces of his crew. Chief Engineer Pete Sullivan shook his head slowly. Communications Specialist Lisa Park tried to re-establish contact with New Austin, but found only silence. How long to reach New Austin? Morrison asked. 18 hours at maximum speed, Rodriguez replied. Set course, maximum speed. As the Defiance began its journey toward the outer colonies, Morrison thought about the enemy they might be facing. The reports described ships and tactics unlike anything in human experience. Perfect formations, overwhelming firepower, the methodical approach of a species that had mastered the art of war. But Morrison had learned something in his years of fighting. Perfection could be a weakness. Rigid thinking could be defeated by flexibility. The enemy might have superior numbers and technology, but they might not understand the one thing that made humans dangerous in a fight. Humans did not like to lose. On her flagship, War Marshal Vexithara prepared for another easy conquest. Battle Commander Kaltek would lead the first wave. 50 ships against a single human colony. The battle would be over in minutes. The humans would surrender or die, just like all the others. War Marshal, Her strategic advisor Mordek approached with new intelligence. "We have intercepted human communications. Their leaders have been informed of our presence." And their response? "They have sent a single message to all our ships, War Marshal. It contains only 4 words in their primitive language." Vexathara waited for the translation. They said, "Come and take it." The War Marshal felt something she had not experienced in centuries of conquest. Surprise. Every species they had encountered had begged for mercy or tried to negotiate. None had ever issued a challenge. "Curious," she said. "Perhaps these humans are more interesting than we thought. No matter. Caltech will teach them the price of defiance." The first wave of Confederation ships moved toward human space with the confidence of warriors who had never known defeat. Their formations were perfect. Their weapons were charged. Their tactics had been proven against 200 other species. They did not know that humans had spent their entire history learning how to fight against impossible odds. They did not know that human military doctrine was built on the simple idea that any tactic could work if applied at the right time and place. They did not know that chaos could be a weapon as sharp as any blade. The USS Defiance raced through space toward a battle that would change everything. In the outer colonies, human defenders prepared to face an enemy that claimed to have mastered war itself. Neither side knew that they were about to discover which was stronger. 3,000 years of perfect tactical doctrine or the human refusal to accept defeat. The galaxy was about to learn that there was more than one way to understand war. Battle Commander Caltech watched his fleet approach the human colony of New Austin with satisfaction. 50 warships moved in perfect formation, their silver hulls gleaming against the black of space. Each ship held its exact position, maintaining the precise distances that Confederation tactical doctrine demanded. The human colony lay ahead, a small world with 3 orbital defense platforms and perhaps a dozen patrol ships. Caltech had conquered worlds defended by hundreds of ships. This would barely qualify as a warm-up exercise. "Begin the intimidation display," he ordered his fleet. The Confederation ships moved into their ceremonial attack formation. Each vessel took its assigned position with mechanical precision. Weapon ports opened in synchronized waves, creating patterns of light that had terrified countless species into surrender. The fleet began its traditional approach, broadcasting warnings in the human language. On New Austin's primary defense platform, Colonial Defense Coordinator Ryan Clark watched the alien display with growing amazement. The enemy ships moved like dancers, each one perfectly timed with the others. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. "They're showing off," Deputy Commander Helen Wright said from beside him. She was a veteran of the corporate wars, a woman who had seen her share of battles. "Look at those formations. They're more interested in looking impressive than fighting efficiently." Clark nodded. The alien approach